News for all of you people first who bank with the friendly National Chemical Loan and Trust.
Yeah, several of the bank branches have been moved, friends, and would be obliged now if you'd make a notation of these switches.
It's a good idea. The 79th Street branch, this is more for people who live in New York, really.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
This is more for people in New York. The 79th Street branch of the bank has now been moved to 147th Street.
The Wall Street branch is moving to Delancey Street and will be known hereafter as the Canal Street branch.
The 32nd Street branch is now located at 95th Street.
And finally, the 5th Avenue branch has been moved to Cicero Avenue out in Chicago, and that will be known as the Outer Drive branch.
Well,
and there you are.
There's only one small problem here that this presents, and we feel it can be easily overcome with your help.
That is that we have lost the records at the bank of your deposits and withdrawals. And if you could come in to our main office at the corner of 57th and 11th, we would appreciate it very much.
The downtown branch.
And tell us honestly how much you have in there.
We'll take your word for it. This sounds like a big problem, but it isn't really if we all play fair and we're all honest about it and tell Bob and Ray and their bank how much money you have in it.
Thank you.
Now over to our sports desk and our beloved sports commentator, Biff Burns.
Thank you very much, Ray. This is Biff Burns, fans, and I've just flown in from the Armitage Country Club in Millinocket, Maine, to bring in my special guest. As you know, this is National Golf Day around the country. I thought it might be good to get a look at another phase of golf, and an important one, too, the Caddy. And we have with us here at our sports microphone the world's oldest lady caddy, and I wonder if you'd come in, ma'am, and tell us your name.
Well, my name is Miss Bernice Douglas.
Miss Douglas, you've been caddying now for some 38 years, almost as long as golf has been popular in this country.
Oh, well, golf has been popular, excuse me, for longer than 38 years. But it was certainly just starting to grab onto the fancy of the person who had more leisure time, in order that he could probably, with the increased leisure time, get to the golf course, and thereby, with leisure time, to... Yeah.
What prompted you to become a caddy in the first place, inasmuch as that job had been handled by boys or men up until the time you entered the field?
Well, there was... Well, with increased leisure time, you found that there were more people going out on the golf course, and they were paying caddies to tote around their golf bags and so forth, and I was a strong lady.
Have you ever had any unusual experiences on the golf links as you've carried the bags for some of the world's top players?
Well, now, whatever you'd consider interesting experiences, I don't know. You see, with increased leisure time now, you'll find...
I think you went into that, lady. Now, let's get to another phase. How many miles do you think you've walked in your 38-year career as a lady caddy?
Well, I carried a pedometer one time, one weekend, back several years ago, and then I just tried to use that more or less, because, you see, with leisure time, you're finding many more people outdoors, generally on the golf course.
Become a very popular sport, of course.
Because of the increased leisure time. And the pedometer that I carried showed that I walked over 30 miles one weekend.
Have you ever caddied for any famous golfers, like Bobby Jones or anyone we've...
The most famous golfer I've carried is Mickey Rooney. Of course, he was small.
For all of the young girls listening into our sportscast today who may hope to grow up and become lady caddies, can you give them any advice?
Well, I'd say now's the time to start when you're young. Get to know the different golf clubs, get to know what clubs are to be used in certain times, get to know... You see, with increased leisure time...
Well, I see our time is just about up here now, and we want to thank you very much for flying in from Millinocket, Maine, for a very interesting interview. And this is Biff Burns saying, until next time, this is Biff Burns saying so long.
Our guests are some druggists from Somaliland here today.
Sir, are there any impressions that you'd like to give us? This is your first trip, I understand, to this country. Anything that's impressed you most that you'd care to tell us about? Mm-hmm. Well, I think that impresses most people, don't you, Bob?
Yes, I think it does that in the scenery, of course, which is unusual to you gentlemen, I'm sure. Tall buildings. Mm-hmm.
I see. Well, gee whiz, have you had a chance to enjoy any of our American baseball? You know, that's a big sport here.
Yes, well, that was good that you got a chance to see it. When are you going back? How long are you going to be here? Wednesday?
Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. And have you tried our American hot dogs and hamburgers and things like that?
Say, excuse me,
Oh,
man.
he had mustard and relish, the works, right?
I heard them before we went on the air. They were rehearsing a little song that they sing outside the drugstores over there.
Mm-hmm.
And could they do that for us, the interpreter? It's kind of a chant almost. I don't know whether it's to drum up business or what for.
Well, let's listen to it. Go ahead, fellows. The microphone's all yours.
That's it.
Let's push them towards the door, shall
All
we?
right, sure. Just
Open the door.
move back a little.
Just move back, fellas. Back. Good.
Boy, doesn't that grate on the nerves.
Boy, oh boy, is that
that's
terrible.
terrible.
Seating time.
That's
huh?
right, Arthur.
And Tony, who are you?
My name is Fred.
Well, where's Tony? He's usually here.
Well, Tony is sick, and they sent me over to replace him for you, Arthur.
Well, did they tell you what you're supposed to do?
That's
what
right,
your
Arthur.
Your duties will be here?
That's right, Arthur. They told me to say that a lot.
Well, this is our eating portion with all of the guests.
That's right, Arthur.
You don't have to say that quite so often, Fred.
That's right, Arthur.
All of our guests handed out little luncheons to help them get through the day. And what do we have today, Fred?
Well, Arthur, the first thing, everyone has a little paper cup filled with grandmother's mincemeat sent over from the
Don't
mincemeat
do it
institute
quite
of...
so fast. You've got to make this thing last for about 3 minutes.
That's right, Arthur.
If I were you, I wouldn't say that too often, fella. I've been on the show a long time. You're gonna
All
get
right.
in trouble.
Now stop.
That's right,
there.
Arthur. I'm sorry. They also, for each and every member of the audience here, earmuffs from the Earmuff Institute of North America.
Earmuffs. That's all right for a chilly day, huh?
That's right, Arthur. And also, there's
How about some... Do we have any little paper cups of coleslaw?
No, we don't, Arthur. They were supposed to come, but they didn't get here. Arthur. That's right, Arthur. Arthur, that's right.
I told you once, and I'm not going to tell you again. You don't need to keep saying that's right, Arthur. You just say it once in a while.
That's
And
right.
everybody gets a pair of socks. Is that right?
That's right, Arthur. Everyone gets a pair of socks, and they're all through the courtesy of somebody here.
All right. Well,
Can't
let's
make
have
out
a...
the handwritten notes.
Okay, let's have a little bit of music or
Paper
something
bag.
while we all... Don't leave
Don't
those
forget.
wrapper... I was
Arthur, don't
going to
forget to
tell
make-
them about the paper bag.
That's right, Arthur.
You don't need to remind me of things because I have it all down here in notes. They'll all get a paper bag to take home there.
Don't forget
Food.
to tell them not to put anything on the floor, Arthur.
I already have told them not to put anything on the floor.
But I mean,
Now,
they...
you just go over there and sit down.
Happy to welcome back today, and especially with the additional network affiliations that we have, the Regional Coordinator of Interbureau Administration for the Northeast States, Clyde L. Watney, or Happ as he is known to us here. Happ, it's a pleasure to see you again.
Thank you. First of all, Bob, I want to thank you, your employers, and the entire network for making this time available to me and my office absolutely free.
Happ, I know a great many things have taken place down at the Interbureau Coordination Administration
Yes,
since we've seen you, and I wonder if you'd bring us up to date a little bit.
Well, as you know, we have an office here in New York. We have a field office in Rutland, Vermont, and we cover the 6 New England states, Pennsylvania, and Indiana. And it's our hope to be opening shortly field office in Muncie, Indiana.
You
Now,
still...
I'd like first...
Excuse me. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
You still have quite a sizable number of men in the field reporting in on a weekly or bi-weekly basis. I wonder if you'd tell us how the cooperation with your administrators in the field has been.
The cooperation has been excellent. However, the morale at my office is at a low ebb. As you know...
Would you like me to hold that ice cream cone for you?
No, this is all right, thank you.
All right.
As you know, We have not had any money forthcoming from Washington. We've been functioning now for over a year. So that when I get into the office on, well, say Monday morning now, I'll get these shifty glances from all the employees because they haven't been paid in over a year. I've made several trips to Washington to find out who my immediate supervisor is. Nobody seems to know.
Well, you're still working on the basis of Army directives, isn't that right?
We have one office here, and in it we have about 12 folding chairs, one desk, a phone, and a complete list of Army regulations. Now, that's the only book that we have to go by.
Well, in other words, you haven't been able to get any satisfaction. Go ahead.
I haven't been able to get any satisfaction down in Washington as to where the money's going to come from.
Well, I can imagine that there should be a little bit of...
I'm an optimist at heart, and because of that, I've gone ahead and leased 4 more floors in the building where I am, and have taken on 250 more employees who will be typing the records that our field men will be bringing in from time to time.
And you're still coordinating, collating the records, sending them on to Washington on a regular basis.
Sending it on to Washington on a regular basis.
So that they will know what you're doing.
All know what we're doing down there.
All right, sir. Well, thank you very much for bringing us up to date, and anything further that you have to report, make sure that you bring it to us first, will you please? Clyde L. Happ Watney of the Interbureau Regional Coordination Administration for the Northeast states, Pennsylvania, and Indiana.
Let me have 15 cents to get home.
Are we going out to Hollywood first today for those rushes that we promised to show?
We are going to show rushes?
Well, we sent Ballou out there to the set.
It'll mean work for all of us, I suppose.
Yeah, to the set of a new motion picture.
Oh, who's been playing with these earphones? You know, when we call in Wally Blue, we have to put on earphones to hear what he's saying at the other end, and gee whiz, it's caught my wig. And now it's on sideways.
That's terrible.
I hope members of the studio audience will not be too shocked.
But the part goes from your left ear right over to behind your right ear.
How do you like that? I ran out of spruce gum this morning and had to use spearmint.
Now on to Hollywood and Wally Ballou. This is what?
Wait a minute. Is that right? Is everything right? Let's try again, Master Control, shall we, to Hollywood and our correspondent, Wally Ballou.
Come in, Ballou. This is Wally Ballou on Soundstage 7 at Repulsive Pictures, where rushes for the new film The Proud and the Pooped are about to be run off. I'm speaking here with the star of the picture, Rock McGurk, who is just about to film the final scene. Is that right, Rock?
That's right, Mr. Ballou.
This is the barroom fight scene.
That's right.
And we're going to see some of those breakaway chairs in action.
Well, I think might be of interest to your listeners that I perform in these actual fight scenes. There's no seconds or anything like that. We just
don't have any...
Alan Ladd and I both fight each other here.
Let's see. Who comes out the victor?
Alan Ladd.
He does, eh?
It's a pretty good fight, and it lasts about 2.5, 3 minutes, and he hits me with a pitchfork handle.
Well, then he would end up in the role of the Proud, is that right? And you?
Well, we're both pooped. But he has more pride than I have.
Well, I see the director calling for attention over there, so we'll just stand by.
Attention over here.
Watch for the
I want attention.
Final scene.
This is the fight scene, scene 1150. Take 2.
Sound.
Sound. Quiet on the set.
We're rolling.
Roll 'em.
That's it, ladies and gentlemen. Now, the first aid people are coming over to examine. Mr. Ladd seems to be okay. Mr. McGurk, how do you feel?
He shouldn't have hit me that hard. It's only a movie.
I noticed that breakaway chair was a real chair, wasn't it?
It was a real chair made out of oak. And I'm telling you, that hurts.
That seltzer bottle wasn't made of candy, was it?
I'll get you later, lad. This is only a picture, you know.
So, with a threatened warning,
punch you in the nose when we get off this set.
Rock McGurk walks off the set in a huff. Oh, there's another little fight stepping up. Get that!
Roll him! Get back!
Get that save!
Get that save!
Well, this certainly is a surprise. And from the set of Repulsive Pictures, Wally Ballou returns you to Papp and Ray.
Thank you. Back here in New York. That was very exciting, wasn't it?
We have a little surprise planned for today. Are the two people all set in opposite studios, Ray?
Mm-hmm.
Mrs. Worley and her brother, Mr. Worley, whom they haven't seen. They haven't seen each other for 67 years. And we've flown Mrs. Worley here. And Mr. Worley lives right here in New York.
He took a bus to get here.
We have them in separate studios, and we think that they're going to really have a big surprise in store for them, thanks to us.
Why don't you talk to Mrs. Worley first?
All right. Well, would you bring in Mrs. Worley, please? Come on in, my dear.
Come on, step lively, lady, will you?
Oh, wait, she's 87 years old.
Well, I don't care, Bob. We only have
I
45
know, but let's
minutes.
be kind to her. Right over
Come
here.
on, lady, step along.
Come
here.
on, Mother, right over here.
Hey, Scott.
Sit down, if you will. You are Miss Tabitha Worley, is that right?
Tabitha. It's called.
Tabitha Worley.
Yes, a lot of people make that mistake.
And where do you make your home, Miss Worley?
I live in Bondurant, Wyoming.
That's a wonderful country out there, I know.
Yes,
And you are 87 years young, is that right?
that's right.
And you were flown here by Bob and Ray. And do you have any idea why you're here in this studio today?
I don't have the remotest idea why I'm here.
Is there
Will you
anyone...
speak up, lady,
Well,
please?
she's speaking up, Ray. Don't...
Great Scott.
Do you have anybody that you would particularly like to see after, let's say a great number of years? Someone you used to know?
No, I don't suppose.
Anybody in your family, Miss Worley, that you particularly...
My family, let's see. No. No, it's been so long since I've seen any of them anyway. I don't suppose I'd know them if I fell over them anyway.
Do you remember your brother, Frank?
Sure.
How long is it since you saw him?
Oh, let's see. It must be about 70 years.
70 years. We thought it was only 66, but it's 70.
It's 70 years.
Well, we have a little surprise arranged for you, Miss Worley. We like to do this now and then with the excess cash that we have from our expense account. And I wonder if you'd open the door over there and bring in our next guest.
All right, come on, will you, pal? Step along.
Now, Mr. Frank Worley is facing his sister Tabitha for the first time in 66 years. Let's hear what they have to say.
Well, what'd you want me here for?
This is your sister Tabitha, Mr. Worley.
Oh, hello, Tabitha.
Hello, Frank.
All right, now will you go over and sit down in our studio audience, please? Knowing that we've made two people happier. Now they have.
Why don't you sit together in the same row? They're not even sitting in the same row.
Oh, and you
Bob.
probably have a lot to talk over, don't you, Miss Worley?
Well, I suppose, but it's been so long.
Mm-hmm. Mr. Worley, you have anything to say to your
No.
sister?
No, you've changed.
Uh-huh. Well, I know that we've...
You mind
Maybe
if
you-
I sit in another row?
No, you can sit anywhere you want. It's
Where do you
okay.
live now, Tabitha?
Bondurant, Wyoming.
And so, as they exchange anecdotes of days gone by...
Wait a minute, I better get out of here. I have an appointment. I have to have my teeth fixed. Would you mind if I run along?
No, you
go
go ahead.
All right, and so we have rejoined the Worleys, and we know that we've added a little bit of human kindness.
Is that
to
why you flew me here?
Yes, you can go back any time now.
Well, I might as well run along home now. There's probably a plane leaving. Bye.
Goodbye, Miss Worley.
Isn't that heartwarming?
It certainly is. It did something to me.
Well, our Bob and Ray staff has been busy on fall features for the past week, and one of those which you have requested most is the Webley Webster book review, which, of course, has been quite popular in the past. And, Webb, I'm looking forward to a fall and winter of great books brought to life in vivid description by you on these weekly visits.
You put it real pretty, Bob. Well, as you know, the fall season, most of the publishers go to work to get out a lot of books in the fall because people are back inside the house and they read.
Webley suggests that people in the fall are ready to settle down and read a good book now and
Oh,
then.
Bob, you don't have to translate for me.
Well, I
People
thought-
know what I'm saying.
Thought maybe it was a little difficult for some
That
of
gets
them.
my goat. I don't know if I've ever told you that or
All right,
not.
well, I won't do
But every
that.
time I say something, you say, what Webley means to say, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, all right, I
They
won't-
know what I'm
You're
saying.
taking all the time now. Let's get... What book have you got to review for this week?
The Panty Farmer Cookbook.
Mm-hmm. This then would have to do with food, and what recipe do you like best about...
Well, there's so many wonderful recipes. I think on page 20, though, is the most interesting part of the whole book.
Uh-huh.
This ship is at sea for about 4 or 5 days. And as we look in on them...
Ship at sea in the Fanny Farmer Cookbook?
That's right.
You sure you have the right book? You're reviewing the right one?
Look, you mind your business and all my mind.
But I see the
On page
Webley
48.
Webster players over there. What are they...
They're here to dramatize what I think is the most interesting part of the book. Sort of
They're
to
gonna
whet your
dramatize a
appetite.
cookbook, huh?
Well, that's
I don't
what I'm
remember
going to
seeing-
do.
All right.
Page 48, then. It's shortly after 4 bells, and the ship's at sea for about 8 days. And we look in and...
You sent for me, Captain? That's right, matey. Take a look at this here chart.
Why, sir, you
Where?
got the chart upside down.
Why, you...
No.
You'll keep a civil tongue in your head when you talk to the good captain of this tub.
Begging your pardon, Captain. I just took a quick glance at the chart there.
I want you to take a good look at this chart, matey, and tell the captain where we are.
Well, if it were me, sir, I'd say we're about 200 miles south of Hatteras, sir.
What do you mean, if it be you? What kind of lingo is that to say to the good captain?
Well, you ask me,
Why,
sir. Well,
you-
Oh.
Get up off the deck, matey. Try to keep a civil tongue in your head. Now then,
Begging your pardon, sir.
what be we have to eat?
Well, we got some corned beef below, sir. A bit of blood pudding. And
Well,
some pilot crackers.
Why, you...
Oh.
That's no bill of fare to recite to the captain, mate. Now get ye out of here.
Aye, sir.
So, that's
Wow.
pretty exciting,
Oh,
isn't
it's
it?
exciting. Yeah, but
That's the Panty Farmer Cookbook. Get it at any bookstore, I guess.
Very great pleasure for us to welcome another great baseball figure to our Bob and Ray booth this afternoon. One of the great first basemen of all time with the old Highlanders, I guess
That's
it
right,
was.
the old Highlanders,
And
Bob.
later manager, Frankie Papp. Frank, it's a pleasure to have you in here today. And I
Pleasure
wanna-
to be back, and I would like to say that I enjoyed that anecdote very much.
They tell me,
It
Frankie,
reminded
you've got
me
quite
of
a few
great,
anecdotes of your own.
Great many anecdotes. I have found through the years that baseball anecdotes go down through the years. In
That's
other
right.
words, if it happened to happen a double day in 1890, it's sure going to happen to Walt Dropo in 1955.
Well, I guess that stands to reason. Frankie, tell us what you remember as one of the most maybe embarrassing moments you ever had on the playing field.
Well, it's an anecdote much like Leo told here recently on your program. And it was the first day I was in the big leagues. I come up to bat, and the first time up, I was a little shaky up there, and I was a little slow on getting signals at the time. I was trying to remember them. It was my first day. I remember the third base coach would tip his hat. That meant something. And
Sure.
the first baseman would bend over and pick up a stone. That meant something.
That's right.
And so forth.
Go ahead. There you were,
Oh,
standing up there and
and,
trying to remember the signals and trying to figure
Well,
out.
I was up at bat. I swung left-handed. And the pitch out there in the mound, I don't know if you remember him.
No, I don't. But go ahead.
And he was out there, he wound up, and they let them come in there. I could hardly... In fact, I couldn't see it. And the stands around me, send the bump back.
Kind of trying to rattle you a little bit, Frankie, huh?
That's right. And behind the plate, you probably remember him, the umpire.
Yes, I do.
And there was 3 high hardwoods. They went right by me, 3 called strikes. Well, I was mad. I took my bat and I threw it way up.
Uh-oh. That was
Way,
a
way up.
Pretty outward sign of anger there.
It went
wasn't
up above the second tier of stands. And the umpire said to me, young man, I was a young man then.
Sure.
He said, young man, if that bat comes down,
you're out of the game.
Well, there's a real baseball story, if I ever heard one. And I know that you've got a lot more, Frankie Papp, but it certainly has been nice talking to you.
It's been swell.
And that'll go into the annals, I'm sure. Thanks for dropping by.
Will this be buried in Washington?
Hey, hold everything, friends.
That's right. Stop whatever you're doing, because this time I think the makers of Bob and Ray stuff have really done it.
I know they have. They have added another to the list of things you can be immune to.
Now, you can be immunized to typhoid, typhus, and a host of other diseases, but now, thanks to you-know-who, you can get diplomatic immunity.
You heard right. Now you can get diplomatic immunity.
Now, a lot of you probably are saying that diplomatic is not a disease, and you're right, it's not.
But did you know that all diplomats from foreign lands are immune from income tax and such other legal scourges as parking and speeding tickets and prosecution for a wide assortment of other petty crimes?
Well, that's to say, upon presenting the credentials of their respective countries, they cannot be arrested or detained in any way.
Great, huh? Well, how have we, two lovable but uninfluential radio broadcasters, gotten such immunity? And how can we offer it to others, you're asking? And well, you might.
We've gotten it through the simple expedient of setting up our own country on a small island just outside the legal limits of the continental United States.
This country we've named Transylvania because up till now it was only the name of a fictitious country used in Dracula pictures. Therefore, it sounds familiar, and most people think they know where it is.
We've also set up a Transylvanian embassy in an old store in the low-rent district of our nation's capital, Washington, D.C.
Our application is in for UN membership, and we're thinking of joining the Cold War on the side of the free world. So you can see we're really in the diplomatic swing of things.
But now, what other benefits accrue to those having our diplomatic immunity other than living in a state of mild lawlessness, responsible only to Transylvania, which couldn't care less?
Well, the benefits are many. First of all, your name is put on the mailing lists of all the more popular countries, so that you are constantly being invited to important diplomatic functions and lavish embassy parties.
You get to meet hundreds of interesting people, travel around the world, all expenses paid, to look at dams, roads, and other monuments to progress.
Not only that, but Transylvania has applied for and may be the recipients of generous foreign aid. The money to be used to build a giant hotel, cabana club, gambling casino on the island. This will be used for you and your loved ones should you, by abusing your privileges, be expelled from the United States.
With your Bob and Ray immunity kit, you get free of charge, besides your passport and other official-looking documents, a set of diplomatic license plates with the abbreviation DPL. A book on protocol with chapters on bowing and scraping, cheek kissing, heel clicking, and Yankee baiting.
A sash to wear with the formal clothes you'll have to buy in Transylvania's national colors. Persimmon, burnt umber, and cerise. Do you like them?
Finally, a collection of bright, shiny medals, including the coveted Order of Count Basie.
Now, we still have a few legal loopholes to plug up on this thing.
Like possible loss of your American citizenship?
However, we have every reason to believe they'll be cleared up and cleared up soon. So, we're taking applications now. If you're interested, simply write on a card, "Make me immune, Bob and Ray," and mail it to Transylvanian Consulate, New York.
That's Transylvanian Consulate, New York.
What, officer? We're coming. I tell you, we have a very well-known person with us today. This fellow is well-known in hobby circles. We thought we'd ask him to come over. Prentice L. Wilson, would you come over here, please? And have a chair at our interview microphone. Mr. Prentice L. Wilson certainly is a hobbyist of unusual means. He collects electric light bulbs from famous places. Could you go into that a little bit further, Mr. Wilson?
You just about covered it.
Well, are you still doing this?
Well, yes, I'm still do it.
Mr. Wilson claims he has a collection of some 250 light bulbs which have come out of famous places ranging everywhere from the White House to the Merchandise Mart in Chicago, Madison Square Garden in New York, and the theater where My Fair Lady is playing. Is there a story behind that?
No. You pretty much covered it. I have those bulbs that you mentioned. I also have a bulb from one of those remote-type telephone booths that you find along the highways.
Uh-huh. Well, what prompted you to start all of this?
Well, I was a bulb snatcher from way back.
Mm-hmm.
I'd take a bulb from the kitchen to bring to the living room. I'd,
Rather
more or
than
less
buying
rob
one.
Peter to pay Paul, as they say.
Uh-huh. And pretty soon you began taking them from other places, from public places? What was the first bulb you snatched outside of your own home?
Police headquarters.
Is that so? Was there any repercussion after that?
No. You know those little globes that the sergeant sits behind
Yes.
at the desk where you're booked?
Yeah, the blue.
You've been booked.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, he went out for a minute, and I took the globe off and took the bulb out, and then
I
put
see.
the globe back on.
And he never knew it was gone. You certainly are an interesting person, Prentice L. Wilson, and we want to talk to you a bit more about your bulb collection, so stick around a while.
Close in 5 minutes.